Hi, I'm John Tebow, the founder and CEO of iLobby and the author of the book, How to Change a Law. Imagine what it would be like if the election was over and your person got in. And then you had the opportunity to talk to them. And in the first 100 days, they wanted to know what you thought. So you had this great opportunity where they could effectively wave a magic wand and change your life forever. This is like the story of getting the 3 wishes. Well, here you get to pick your 3 issues. Or maybe you only have 1, or maybe you have 5. But if you had a few things that were really important to you, and you had the opportunity to talk to them, and they could wave the magic wand and make that situation right, what would you ask for? What would be the important thing? Well, I asked a number of my friends to answer that question, and some of the things that came up were pretty interesting. It was everything from reducing regulation to the cost of housing, traffic, government impeding with business, helping animals, the occupancy tax in some cities. So there was a broad range of issues, and they went from the local to the state to the federal. But clearly there were a lot of things that people were concerned about and wanted to articulate and discuss and get a better handle on. So what I decided was, taking your feedback, I thought it would be a good idea to begin to shape some of these issues, help you along, and move this down the road. Because if you did have that meeting with your newly elected leader at whatever level of government, they would want to know a certain number of things from you. They would want to know what your issue is, what your position is, what you want to get done, who else supports you, a lot of things like that. And actually, this is not uncommon. This is typically how these meetings go. And for those of you who are, really pretty passionate about an idea, or maybe, some of us are just not that certain yet, it's a good way to at least think about something that you care about and realize that if you do nothing, other people will come forward and they might not do what's in your best interest. You want to be as prepared as possible. And part of what I learned from this exercise was that it's important to have a clear understanding of what you want to get done and how to go about doing that. And it's incredibly confusing because most of us are pretty vague. It's not something that we deal with every day. But at the same time, the analogy I like to use is, if you have teenagers in your house, or if you remember when you were a teenager, your parents set the rules. And if they made them explicit and they told you what they were, then generally you were okay because you understood what was expected of you. But imagine a situation where there are strangers hundreds of miles away, and every year they make up new rules for you, and they just hand them down, they put them in a book, they have people take care of it, and you don't know what they are, because one, there's so many of them, and 2, there isn't an easy way to find what these rules are, because by the time the language is written, it's in such a complex form that you may not really understand what that rule is. And if you violate that rule, well, you're penalized. You're either fined or some other bad things happen to you if you don't comply. But, and they say, this, they say that not knowing the law is no excuse, but there are tens of thousands of laws that are surrounding us every day. And what I want to focus on is, instead of fighting the situation after the fact, which people do, they go to court and file lawsuits and spend a lot of money and time and effort to reinterpret a law or get a ruling in their favor that they think is the better way to do something. Instead of doing that, what if you had the opportunity early on to be at a point where you could actually come in early and make a statement and build support and begin to shape the language of what happens? And in a sense, you are assisting the politician as they come into office, and you're basically helping them out. So I think that's a good thing. I think it's good for people to be involved. And so what I want to do is, I'll talk about this in the next video, is how you can be involved, how you can figure out your issue and move it forward a little bit, so that when those first 100 days come and you have the opportunity to have that meeting, you're not coming in cold. You have a very clear understanding of what it is you want to get done. And hopefully that's helpful. And I think that is the sense I got from the responses for those of you who filled in the survey. And if you didn't, or if you didn't respond, that's fine too. Not everybody wants to put something out there or have an issue or pursue this. So I'm not saying this is for everybody, but certainly there are enough people who are dedicated to trying to figure out how to navigate these policy waters that I think it makes sense. So anyway, leave your comments below. Feel free to just say, hey, I'm here, hi, whatever. Glad to have you aboard, and I look forward to the next video for you. Okay, thanks.